So we have the layout of the quadrants. Line L is not shown. We know that it has a non-negative slope. So that could be a slope that's either 0 or positive, a non-negative slope. And it passes through quadrant 1. So it definitely passes through here. And we want to know which of the following statements individually by itself provides sufficient information to determine whether the line passes through quadrant 4. And so if we get a piece of information and it allows us to give a definitive yes answer, yes, it absolutely goes through quadrant 4, then that's sufficient. Or if we get a piece of information, we can say yes, absolutely it does not go through quadrant 4, a clear no, that would also be sufficient. If we get a piece of information that leaves us with the conclusion, well, it could go through quadrant 4, but we don't know, that's not sufficient. So let's look at the statements. So we're told here, this ups the ante. It's not just non-negative. It actually has a positive slope. Line L has a positive slope, and it goes through quadrant 1. Well, that could be a line that goes up like this, or it could be a line that goes up like this. So it could be a line that goes through quadrant 4, or it could be a line that doesn't go through quadrant 4. This does not allow us to give a clear answer to the question. So this does not provide sufficient information. Now let's look at the second one. It has a positive y-intercept. So we don't know where, but somewhere on the positive y-axis it has an intercept. Well, we know it has a non-negative slope. So either it has a 0 slope, pretend that's a horizontal line, or it has a positive slope. And notice if it has a positive slope and a positive y-intercept, it never goes through quadrant 4. So in both cases, we can give a definitive no. If it has a non-negative slope and a positive y-intercept, it definitely does not go through quadrant 4. So this actually gives us sufficient information. And so this is going to be one of the correct answers. Now line L passes through quadrant 2. Well, again, that could be a horizontal line, passes through 1 and 2, or it could be a slanted line like this, passing through 1, 2, and 3. We know that it can't be negative, so there's no way it can be going down from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4. And so these are the only possibilities, and notice that neither of these possibilities enters quadrant 4, so again, we can give a definitive no. No, it absolutely does not enter quadrant 4. So another clear, definitive answer, this is going to be one of the correct answers. Finally, we get line L passes through quadrant 3. Well, this certainly indicates that it doesn't have a 0 slope. It must have a positive slope, but again, it could be like this, or it could be like this. We don't know. Maybe it goes through quadrant 4, but maybe it doesn't. So this does not allow us to have a clear answer. And so we see two of the statements are wrong because they do not allow us to give a clear answer, and two of the statements are correct because they allow us to give a clear answer. So the correct answers for this problem are B and C.